Hello there and welcome back. This is our devlog for MantisBase version 0.3.4 release, which came out a few days ago. And let's go over some of the changes that came with this particular release, and then also go over some of the demo on how you can get started with MantisBase, the latest version. So first and foremost, if you come to the GitHub repo MantisBase under this version 0.3.4, if you need to download any of these binaries for Windows or Linux, you can find it here. So this is only for x64, and for Mac OS and ARM builds, unfortunately we don't build it currently, but you're welcome to build it from source. So let's look at some of the new changes. I did write a small blog a couple of days ago just to go over some of these changes, and in a nutshell, there are some things that if you're already using MantisBase, you need to be aware, because this particular release will kind of break a few things here and there. So one of them is that for all the environment variables, we have kind of unified them to, of course, start with the MB underscore wordings. This is basically just to have uniformity across all our environment variables, as some of them were kind of conflicting within our CI build systems. So one of the most important ones you've heard, of course, is the file upload kill switch, and this is for disabling all file uploads to your particular server if you're using MantisBase. This is important for those who just want to have a read-only, server, or everything is kind of public and want people just to be pushing in changes without your knowledge to kind of fill your storage here. Additionally, we have been able to expose other options, of course, including things like disabling rate limits. This is important when you're doing maybe bulk exports and imports, or you just want to disable this particular feature because you don't require it. Currently, this has been set for all the authentication endpoints, so just be aware about that. There's no option to configure it generally for other endpoints. That might come in future releases, but keep an eye on that. If you're doing any production builds, make sure to set up this MB JWT secret. This provides your particular application with secrets to kind of use in signing your JWT tokens. If you don't set that, please know that you'll be using the default string which ships with MantisBase, and it's actually in the public, so keep that in mind. One of the things we've been able to work on for this particular release is to have some Docker builds and Docker improvements. In version 0.3.3, which we didn't even talk about, is that we started pushing our changes to the Docker hub, so you can be able to pull the changes. So if I switch to Docker, so you have this image alan_mantisbase, and you can pull this image to kind of have MantisBase set up in a Docker container. This will give you everything out of the box already configured, so your work is just to connect what you want to connect, add on top of it. If you need to have persistence in terms of your data for your database, if you're using SQLite, as well if you have some, maybe your website you want to be keeping updating, some scripts here and there, so you can add volume mounts to your particular container, and this will help you, of course, keep a persistent storage on your disk. If you want to use PostgresQL for your backend, we have a sample within. If you look at the documentation, it will give you a sample on how to use PostgreSQL instead of SQLite within your Docker container. You can also use Docker Compose, of course. So the sample there shows you using Docker Compose is there on our GitHub repo. That will just show you how to do all those kind of configuration. So for this particular demo for today, we'll use Docker later. But going back to our changes here, one of the things we have worked on is the admin panel updates, and we'll be working on over some of these changes once we are at the admin dashboard itself. So first and foremost, we have a new landing page for MantisBase. So this will be the major landing page to basically guide you on all the different links you need to know. For MantisBase, if you need to have documentation, you can have a quick docs here on the top. If you need to access the GitHub, everything is actually under this same landing page. It also goes over some of the features of MantisBase, and if you have any announcements, we shall be sure to put it here. If you need to get up and running quickly, we have provided some quick links on the landing page as well, just to keep you acquainted with some of this information. One of the features I'm proud of is we now have a free demo. So if you just need to test out MantisBase without any hassle of setting up maybe Docker, building from source, or running the binaries that are from our release page, you can get a free demo site. So if you click on this one, it should bring you to this particular page. So it should be this way. This is already hosted on our demo.mantisbase.com site, and by default the credentials are posted here for you to log in and test it out. But remember, data is cleared every 30 minutes, so any changes you do within 30 minutes will be kind of cleared out. So by default, this has actually been pre-filled with the credentials, but if not, you can find the email here and the password as well here. So if you log into this site, it should open this kind of a dashboard similar to previous versions, but of course this now has some data pre-filled. We have 3 entities. You have the authors entity that shows you different authors and their information. We have a post entity that gives you data about what they have been posting about. And then lastly, we have comments that basically link some of these comments to the posts you have done previously. Of course, all this data you can change them, so you can come back and say, this is actually for the authors. Let's work with the posts, but yeah, the same. I can say I don't like this title. I can just do and much more, and yeah, that should go in. But within 30 minutes, this will actually be cleared out. For other things like asset images like this, so remember, all these are just image assets that you can open in a new tab, and of course they're all prefixed to to a particular endpoint. So this is basically an asset stored within the storage for our particular backend. This is open for everyone. If you want to test out the admin dashboard without any installation, feel free to come into this particular demo dashboard. Give it a try. If you like it, now you can download it. So let's go to downloading it into our hardware, and then we can run it out from there. So in my Linux directory, I've already downloaded the zip file and extracted it to MantisBase, of course, automatically here. So same as before, if you want to run it, you have to do MantisBase serve, and I can run that. Since the first time you're running it, we now know the drill. You have to come and set up the admin and the default admin account. Remember, you can set this from the command line. No need to use, I think I've mixed up. Okay, I'll go back to login because we are active on the same site, same site with a different admin account. Good. So this is the default interface that comes with the admin dashboard launch. So you can add a new entity as usual. Of course, you can do posts. You can do here title. It's a string. You can also do another, maybe views. We can do this an integer. I think we don't have a negative view, so we just create that. And now you can still have the same interface. You can create the world. You can say this guy has 12 views. You can save, and you have the same records. So one of the changes you have done is that now you have this contextual menu here. So if you select the three dots, it gives you ability to clone this particular entity. So this allows you, if you've already done a lot of setup in your particular entity, you can just clone the schema. If you click clone, this will give you the same name with a copy in front of it, and you can come in to add additional maybe schemas here, fields. I can do here, blah blah blah, create it, and now you have this post copy. Similarly, you can rename it to something else like renamed, and that should work. And the same you can also delete it from here. You can confirm, and that's gone. So this is just a quality of life improvement, and that comes with version 0.3.4. At the same time, we've been able to fix a lot of issues that came with overflows with very long entity names. So currently this should not overflow, it will just be elided. At the same time, we have fixed a lot of bugs that came with validation of data. So in version 0.3.3, we had a lot of errors with validation. So we have kind of fixed most of them. So if you experience any errors while you do your testing, please let us know. With that, I think that's all I wanted to show you about this admin dashboard. Let me just switch back to the command line and let's set up all of this using Docker. That should be the fun part. So let me stop this from running. Let's clear this. Remember, we can make use of this same data for our Docker. So let's just run Docker from this same container, directory I mean. So we'll do Docker run, and then I will do, and then we need to do, I think I need to mount the volumes before. I think that should be the format. I care much about the data directory only. For the others, I don't make use of it currently. So let's run. Should be lowercase. Yeah, good. So this should work on the same database backend. So no need to set up a new admin account. Yes, yeah. So everything is by default from the Docker container. We are exposing port 80, and you're listening on all the IP address. So you can change this if you need to. Same. So we can come back to our browser here. You should not be able to see any kind of change per se. I think we are not hitting the back end anymore. Yes, I know. So we need to first of all stop this, and one of the things we need to do here is we need to bind. Let's just bind a new port. Why do I keep forgetting? This should be done before here. So let's bind the port to 7080 just to show you that this is different from what we had done previously using a local binary that should run. So if you come to this particular port, it should not work per se, but of course you can add here and that should work. Of course this should be localhost, but on Linux that kind of works still. So you can go back to login, you can set up that, you can sign in, and yeah, we still have our posts table because you have mounted the data from the previous run to this particular Docker container. That's all about Docker. So it's a good way if you need to test it out and you don't want to run binaries on your particular hardware. You can make use of Docker. We're looking forward to improving some of these things over time, providing more options for you to have MantisBase. Of course, all this is fitting within around 4 megabytes compressed. When you uncompress, it's around I think that should be around 10 megabytes. Yeah, so around 11 megabytes of space in your particular hard disk. So it's quite small, but it's packed with many features, and we shall be improving it as time goes by. I hope you found that insightful. Give it a test. If you experience any issues, create a pull request or create an issue, and we'll get to work on it. I'll see you in the next devlog. Bye.